Hello, Sawadee Krupp and Konnichiwa. Did you know that some Asian cities are home to more than 20 million people, making them larger than entire countries in Europe? Or that Asia is home to both the world's most ancient living cities and its most futuristic skylines, sometimes just a short flight apart? From streets that never sleep to temples that have stood for 1,000 years, Asia is like nowhere else on Earth. Asia, the largest and most diverse continent on Earth, a place where ancient spiritual traditions and cutting-edge technology exist side by side, where the smells of street food markets and incense from thousand-year-old temples fill the same air, and where cities of extraordinary scale and extraordinary beauty have been growing and evolving for longer than most of Western civilization has existed. From the Himalayan valleys of Nepal to the neon-lit towers of Hong Kong, from the lantern-lit streets of Hoi An to the impossibly organized chaos of Tokyo, this list covers 12 completely different reasons to fall in love with Asia. These are our picks. We would love to hear yours in the comments. And if you are new here, hit subscribe now, because this is exactly the kind of video we make every single week. Stay with us, because the top 3 is going to be epic. Starting at number 12, Kathmandu is unlike any other city in Asia, a chaotic, colorful, deeply spiritual capital sitting in a valley in the Himalayan foothills of Nepal at 1,400 meters above sea level, surrounded on all sides by peaks that dwarf everything below them. The old city of Kathmandu, its medieval streets lined with ancient temples, shrines, and carved wooden architecture that has barely changed in centuries, is a living UNESCO World Heritage Site, where Hindu and Buddhist traditions intertwine in ways found nowhere else on Earth. The Buddhanath Stupa, one of the largest in the world, draws pilgrims from across the Himalayan region. And the view from the city's rooftops toward the Great White Wall of the Himalayas on a clear morning is one of the most humbling and most extraordinary natural panoramas on Earth. Chiang Mai is the cultural capital of northern Thailand, a city of 300 temples, ancient moat walls, and a way of life that moves at a distinctly different pace from the frenetic energy of Bangkok far to the south. The old city, still enclosed within its square moat and ancient brick walls, contains a remarkable concentration of Lana-style Buddhist temples, gilded, ornate, and draped in the particular golden light of the north, that reward days of unhurried exploration. The night markets of Chiang Mai are among the finest in Thailand. The surrounding mountains are home to hill tribe communities, elephant sanctuaries, and jungle trekking routes that draw adventurous travelers from across the world. And the Lantern Festival of Yi Peng, when thousands of paper lanterns are released into the night sky above the old city, is one of the most beautiful spectacles in all of Asia. Our number 10 in the countdown. Hoi An is the most beautiful small city in Vietnam, and one of the most beautiful in all of Southeast Asia. A UNESCO World Heritage trading port on the central coast of Vietnam, Hoi An was one of the most important commercial hubs in Asia between the 15th and 19th centuries, and its extraordinary preservation means that the ancient town today looks almost exactly as it did at the height of its prosperity. The yellow-washed shophouses, the covered Japanese bridge, the lantern-lit streets reflecting in the Thu Bon River at night. Hoi An has a quality of timeless beauty that is genuinely rare in the modern world. And at the Full Moon Lantern Festival, held every month when the town's electric lights are switched off and the streets glow with hundreds of colored silk lanterns, Hoi An becomes one of the most magical places in Asia. At number 9, Kyoto was the imperial capital of Japan for over 1,000 years, and it carries that history with a quiet dignity and a depth of cultural beauty that no other Japanese city can match. With over 1,600 Buddhist temples and 400 Shinto shrines within the city boundaries, Kyoto is the most concentrated repository of Japanese traditional culture on Earth. The Fushimi Inari Shrine, its thousands of vermilion torii gates winding up the forested mountainside, is one of the most iconic images in all of Japan. The Arashiyama Bamboo Grove, the Geisha district of Gion, the moss gardens of Saihoji, the golden pavilion of Kinkakuji reflected in its mirror pond. Kyoto rewards the slow traveler with an inexhaustible depth of beauty that reveals itself differently with every season. At number 8. Hanoi is one of the most atmospheric and most fascinating capitals in Southeast Asia. A city of extraordinary contradictions where French colonial boulevards lined with ancient trees meet the chaotic energy of the Old Quarter, where thousands of motorbikes weave through streets that have barely changed in a century, and where the smell of pho broth drifting from street-side kitchens fills the morning air across the entire city. The Hoan Kiem Lake at the heart of the Old Quarter, with the Turtle Tower on its island and the Red Huck Bridge leading to the Nok Sun Temple, is one of the most beautiful urban lakes in Asia. Hanoi moves fast, smells extraordinary, and sounds like nowhere else on Earth. It is a city that assaults every sense and rewards every one of them. At number 7. Kuala Lumpur is one of the most underrated cities in Asia, a rapidly evolving Malaysian capital that surprises almost every visitor with its ambition, its diversity, and its extraordinary skyline. The Petronas Twin Towers, for 6 years the tallest buildings in the world and still among the most recognizable structures on Earth, rise from the heart of the city in a design that draws on Islamic geometric patterns and has become the defining symbol of modern Malaysia. But Kuala Lumpur is more than its skyline. The Batu Caves, the street food of Jalan Alor, the colonial architecture of Merdeka Square, the extraordinary cultural mix of Malay, Chinese, and Indian communities that gives the city its food, its festivals, and its irrepressible energy. Kuala Lumpur is a city of genuine and fascinating depth. Seoul is one of the great cities of the 21st century, a metropolis of 10 million people that has transformed itself from a war-damaged capital into one of the most dynamic, most creative, and most culturally influential cities on Earth in the space of a single generation. The ancient Gyeongbokgung Palace, surrounded by mountains and still guarded by soldiers in traditional Joseon dynasty dress, sits at the heart of a city that is simultaneously obsessed with its past and absolutely fearless about its future. The street food of Gwangjang Market, the indie music scene of Hongdae, the fashion of Gangnam, the K-pop culture that has taken the entire world by storm. Seoul is a city of extraordinary energy that moves at a speed that leaves most visitors breathless. At number 5. Delhi is the most overwhelming city in Asia, and that is meant as a compliment. A capital of 33 million people that contains not one, but multiple complete cities layered on top of each other across 5,000 years of almost continuous habitation. From the ancient ruins of 7 previous Delhis, visible across the landscape, to the Mughal grandeur of Old Delhi. From the colonial boulevards of Luchin's New Delhi, to the gleaming towers of the modern city rising to the south. The Red Fort, the Jama Masjid, the Humayun's tomb, the Qutb Minar, Delhi carries one of the richest and most complex histories of any city on Earth. And the food, the street food of Chandni Chowk, the kebabs of Old Delhi, the chaat of every corner, is among the finest and most diverse in the world. Number 4 in our list. Singapore is the most extraordinary city-state on Earth, a sovereign nation of 6 million people on an island at the tip of the Malay Peninsula that has transformed itself from a colonial trading post into one of the wealthiest, most efficient, and most visually spectacular cities in Asia in the space of a single lifetime. The Marina Bay Sands, its 3 towers topped by the iconic boat-shaped Sky Park, has become one of the most recognizable buildings in the world. The Gardens by the Bay, with its extraordinary super tree grove, glows like a vision of the future at night. The hawker centers, where some of the finest and most diverse food in Asia is served at prices that make every other city in the region look expensive, are a UNESCO intangible cultural heritage. Singapore is a city of the future, and it is already here. At number 3, Hong Kong is one of the most visually dramatic cities on Earth. A vertical city of extraordinary density clinging to the steep hills of a peninsula and a series of islands on the southern coast of China, where the South China Sea meets one of the busiest harbors in the world, and where a skyline of over 9,000 skyscrapers, more than any other city on Earth, rises from the water in a display of architectural ambition that is simply without equal. The view from Victoria Peak, looking down over the harbor and the Kowloon Peninsula beyond, is one of the great urban panoramas of the world. The night market of Temple Street, the dim sum of Yum Cha, the traditional fishing village of Tai O on Lantau Island. Hong Kong is a city of extraordinary contrasts that somehow holds all of its contradictions together in a way that is entirely and completely its own. At number 2. Bangkok is the most exhilarating city in Asia, a capital of 10 million people that operates at a frequency of noise, color, smell, and human energy that is unlike anywhere else on Earth. The Grand Palace, its golden spires rising above the Chao Phraya River in a display of Rattanakosin-era architectural brilliance that took centuries to build, is one of the most spectacular royal complexes in Asia. Wat Pho, home to the 46-meter-long reclining Buddha, its golden surface filling the entire length of its temple hall, is a place of overwhelming scale and quiet spiritual power. And beyond the temples, Bangkok is one of the great food cities of the world. From the Michelin-starred restaurants of Sukhumvit to the street food of Yaowarat Chinatown, where the cooking has been perfected over generations and served at plastic tables on the pavement at midnight. And our number 1, Tokyo, the greatest city in Asia, and, for many people who have been, the greatest city on Earth. Tokyo is a metropolis of 14 million people in the city proper, and over 37 million in the greater metropolitan area, that somehow manages to be the safest, the cleanest, the most organized, and the most consistently extraordinary urban experience available anywhere in the world. The contrast between the ancient and the futuristic is nowhere more dramatic or more seamlessly resolved than in Tokyo. The Sensoji Temple in Asakusa, with its giant red lantern and its 1,400-year history, sits within a short metro ride of the neon canyons of Shinjuku and the robot-filled electronics markets of Akihabara. The cherry blossoms in Ueno Park in spring, the quiet reverence of the Meiji Shrine in the heart of the city, the view from the Tokyo Skytree over a city that stretches in every direction to the horizon and beyond. Tokyo does not just meet expectations, it redefines them. And that is our top 12 of the most beautiful cities in Asia. 12 cities, 12 completely different worlds. Did your favorite make the list? Or is there a city in Asia that you think deserves to be number 1? Drop it in the comments. We read every single one. If this video gave you that feeling of wanting to pack your bags right now, a thumbs up means the world to us. Subscribe so you never miss a new destination from Travel Destinations Cinematic. Until next time, sayonara. Safe travels, everyone. The world is beautiful. Go and see it.